Bo Nickel has made quite a name for himself in Season 6 of Dana White's Contender Series. The 26-year-old is on a roll after winning his second fight in just 52 seconds. But it seems like Bo has sort of lost the plot after he called out undefeated welterweight Khamzat Chimaev. What did Dana have to say about the call-out? Keep watching and we'll tell you all about it. First up, good, but not that good. After seeing his most recent performances inside the cage, it's natural to think Bo Nickel could give any welterweight in the division a real hard time. He's dominated his opponents so far and is miles ahead of the other 42 guys competing for a UFC contract. But calling out Khamzat Chimaev, a ruthless fighter who pretty much dominates anyone who shares the cage with him, we think Bo might have gotten ahead of himself here. The upcoming superstar thinks Chimaev is nothing but talk, and after missing weight prior to his last appearance inside the cage at UFC 279, Bo thinks he's just another hype train who can't even make weight. We think it's really heroic Bo is already self-promoting, but he seriously needs to be careful with his words. The last thing you want is to be in Khamzat's crosshairs because everyone who's tried to mess with him in the past has been butchered on the night of action. For now, it's much better if Nickel just stuck to what the boss gives him because we don't see that fight happening in ages. Even Uncle Dana thinks Bo got a bit too ahead of himself and tossed around Khamzat's name at the press conference after his fight. But what's interesting is that just a few hours before we called out the Wolf, Dana and the other executives were actually discussing a potential Bo versus Khamzat fight sometime in the future. Next, building him up like any other fighter. Dana decided to respond to Nickel's comments before Khamzat could get in a word, and that's mainly because the Chechen-born fighter is a killer. Let's not get crazy here. Honestly speaking, that's probably the most appropriate way to put it. Bo shouldn't act all crazy thinking he can take on a stone-cold killer like Khamzat after just 2 victories in the Dana White Contender Series. And the UFC press also thinks there's no need to test him against ranked opponents just yet. He plans on building him like any other exciting prospect. Give him a couple of unranked opponents, build the hype, and give him a prize fight to finally bring him to the scene. Building a fighter can take anywhere from a couple of months to even a year. Don't believe us? Just look at Paddy Pimblett. He's a super exciting fighter with an equally entertaining and charismatic personality, but after going undefeated for 3 fights now, he's yet to fight a ranked opponent. So we reckon it'll be the same with Bo Nickel. Dana's not going to put him up against a ranked opponent for his first ever fight at the UFC. That's like ending his career before he can even catch a break. Moving on, if not Khamzat, then Logan Paul. You can tell Bo is sort of new to being in the spotlight. We're not denying the fact that he was an exceptional grappler and wrestler in his amateur career, but he's just all over the place right now. Shortly after calling out Khamzat Chimaev, Bo Nickel also called out celebrity boxer and WWE star Logan Paul. Either this guy hasn't done his homework or he's desperate to make it big. You can't just go from calling out one of the most ruthless fighters in the game to a YouTube star. And what's funny is that Bo initially said that a fight could happen at the UFC. Someone tell this kid how much Dana hates the Paul brothers, please. Also, does he not know what Francis Ngannou is currently going through? He's the UFC heavyweight champion, and even then Dana is not letting him fight Tyson Fury while he's signed with the UFC. Dana is just magically gonna let you fight Logan Paul at WWE like nothing happened? So yeah, either this is exactly what Bo wants since everyone is talking about him, or maybe he still needs to get a proper taste of the professional fight world. Let's look at the divisional dynamics. There's literally no easy fight out there. The welterweight division is full of guys that would go to war with Bo and put him away in just the first round of the fight. And sure, he might be more talented or younger, but just the feeling of fighting a ranked opponent is often too overwhelming for a guy who's just 26 and yet to make his first appearance in the UFC cage. Even Dana White thinks Bo doesn't know what he's talking about yet because he's only come out dominated what, like 2 times? If we're going to think this kid is something special from what he did in just 2 fights, then we're pretty sure there are a lot more exciting prospects out there. Uncle Dana is spot on building him up and giving him unranked opponents as he can get a feel for a real fight at the UFC. Maybe, just maybe, he could get a fight against Khamzat somewhere down the line if he's as good as he seems. Time for some more on the UFC. Up next, the champ is in no hurry. You probably know that the current heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and UFC president Dana White are going through the good old contract dispute, and Ngannou isn't really beating around the bush when it comes to what he wants. He said on multiple occasions that the UFC seriously needs to upgrade his contract and pay him more for what he does inside the cage. If you ask us, we think the Cameroonian giant certainly deserves a step up from what he's making right now. This isn't confirmed, but it's rumored that he takes home an estimated $600,000 for every fight at the UFC. Times that number by 3, and that comes out to $1.8 million per year. Now, that's a lot of money, no doubt about it, but is it a lot of money for a guy at the top of his game leading an entire division of monsters? We don't think so. When you compare him to other heavyweights in sports like boxing, he's significantly underpaid. Guys like Tyson Fury take home an estimated $20 to $30 million per fight. The champ still has 1 fight left on his contract, and as for a new one, we don't think the UFC will offer him what he wants. But that's fine by Ngannou, he's in no hurry. Now for realistic expectations, let's quickly jump back to Bo Nickal's statement about wanting to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Now, Bo did sort of clear up what he meant by the call-out afterwards, but as far as intentions are concerned, he's pretty serious. He knows he won't get the Khamzat fight immediately because the Wolf is perfectly lined up for a shot at the title, and from the look of things, we think he'll probably end up ruling the division as well. So it's not like Bo doesn't respect him or something. He actually acknowledges him as one of the top fighters in the entire game, but Nickal thinks he has the style to take on the Wolf and beat him somewhere in the near future. He probably cleared things out after realizing everyone, including the UFC boss, made fun of him for his absurd callouts. He's eyeing a potential showdown with Khamzat Chimaev in 2024. That's his golden goal. So yeah, we think it's good he has realistic expectations about things. Last but not least, train smart, not hard. Ahead of his fight against title contender Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya has brought some major changes to his training routine. It seems like he's ditched the hard part of his routine and now prefers to train smart and not hard. Just recently, the Nigerian champion uploaded a video on his Instagram in which he can be seen dodging tennis balls with his back against the wall. Now, this definitely isn't a new type of training since we saw Anderson Silva do this about 10 years ago. He's also been spotted hitting the gym with featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. Both champions seem to be working on their grappling and ground game. Izzy's biggest threat is Pereira's striking. He has the ability to knock out fighters with just one punch. If anything, Izzy needs to work on improving his striking so he can shock Alex with an equally damaging punch to bring the heat to the Brazilian. The funniest part about this is that Pereira uploaded the video on his Insta too, mocking Izzy in a video of him training on a hoverboard. We're glad to see both gentlemen are having fun. There's going to be a big war in the coming months. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Did Bo get carried away at the press conference? Does this kid really have something special to shake the division? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.